Hello, patrons. Good afternoon. And I take 1 week off, and I will do some serious videos in terms of personal way of knowing the communism and national terrorism, my personal interaction, and with those ideal. And in the last few weeks, hopefully probably in the last few months, lots of patriots, Americans, and wake up in the morning and say, "What the hell is going on in this country? How can these two Muslims and terrorists become a congresswoman for the United States? Something went wrong with this country. They were so angry, so mad, so on and so forth, this and that, and so on and so forth. But don't be mad. Things happen for a reason. In 2010, and in my previous video, I stated I went to Washington, D.C., tried to do some federal contract, and for whatever reason, I registered as a Senate and House lobbyist, even though I did not lobby for anything. But one precious lesson I learned. There's so many traders in Washington, D.C., because some insider gave me the kind of information. I think they probably underestimate my intelligence, and they probably treat me as like a foreigner. So I grudgingly knew how they treat their Washington, D.C. Privileged status as a way to betray the country for their own personal gain. In the last few years, I've been traveling around the world, especially to sometimes with the U.S. Department of Commerce delegation to communist China, especially the largest communist country in the world. I figured out everything and I connected dots. I finally figured out. So today, in the next series video, I want to show with you how I found out, how I connected dots. In 2016, January, I think it's January 15, 14, whatever, and I joined a U.S. delegation, Department of Commerce. We had a large event, my lord, in Beijing, China, and in a place called Kunlun Hotel. One of the gentlemen who worked for Department of Commerce, he treated very nicely to me. He said, "Well, David, you can go on the stage and introduce your own company." And because I'm very fluent in both language, in English and Mandarin, so I told him, I said, "Okay, forget about introducing my company. It's something I wanted to do for our country." So I jumped on stage, and in front of more than 1,000 businessmen, sometimes a fake one, and the real one, the government official from both sides of the country. And I said, well, I translate instantaneously, okay, back and forth. And the first thing I opened from my mouth is that, "I know your destiny, better than you do." Everybody look at me, shut, this is a crazy guy. How can they know my destiny? I said, "We're going to have a new president." That's 1 year before President Donald Trump was elected. And I said, well, we're going to have a new president. Our country, we're going to have a new direction. Our enemy can no longer take advantage of us as they did in the past. That's my opening statement. People get shocked. Fortunately, I was not arrested because I did not assault and the communist regime in China, right? I just used, no, we're going to have a new president. But recently, after witnessing so many things going on in this country, I connected dots. I finally figured out lots of things Democrat is doing today is learning from the communist regime in China, what they did in the past. During the Cultural Revolution especially, during the Cultural Revolution from 1965 to 1975, that butchered Chairman Mao, the son of God. And in order to destroy completely the conservative voice on the society and along with his party enemies, he launched a cultural revolution. He inspired teenager, and given a nickname called Red Guard soldiers. They use all kinds of cruelty to destroy the conservative. He divided the enemy in different 5 classes, okay? If the landlord, the rich guy, the anti-communist, and the bad element. Sometimes the bad element, they call the bad element a good element for us. And if you're also the conservative, you're the bad guy as well. So they have a different 5 classes for their enemy. So you use a soldier, the Red Guard soldier, to destroy those people, kill those people, slaughter those people, devote all kinds of cruelty, all kinds of things, along with his party enemy. Okay, lots of his party enemy, his conqueror in the past, died. Oh, miserably! You cannot believe this. How miserable the way they die. So he eventually slaughtered over 40 million Chinese folks. After he completed almost 99.9% of the percent, the enemy, it's time for him to clean up the mess. So, you know what the first thing he did after, he destroyed his enemy? He sent out the military to destroy, arrest, and kill a bunch of them, the Red Guard soldiers. The Red Guard soldier will help him to get rid of his enemies. So in their strategy, they call align with your secondary enemies and destroy your primary enemy. And who is the prime enemy for Democrat today? Not today? Us, the conservative. We cannot unite it. If we are divided, then we'll fall into the trap. Eventually, our children, grandchildren will become a slave for them on a permanent basis. When I went to China, and many, many times already, no matter which part I go, the north, in the south, in the east, in the west, and so on and so forth, if we go to a restaurant, no matter which restaurant you go, Western, Eastern, Russia, whatever cuisine you have, the customers always have one calling to the waiter, waitress. They go, waiter, waitress. Never polite. Never polite. I was shocked. I said, holy Lord, a party can unify even the waiter and waitress calling for all the customers around the country. So one time I attended a big event in Guangdong province, a city called Dongguan. And I was right earlier, this big event, it's a round table, in the Chinese way of, whatever, they always like a round table size. So I was arrived there earlier, and I sit there, and there was a waitress, I think a small lady waitress, and I treated her extremely nice. And she asked me, what do I like to have? I said, just a little bit tea, thank you so much. And I even asked her, what's your name, so on and so forth. She poured the tea for me, and then she come back the second time later on, but still nobody shows up in that table. So he stood to me and we engaged a conversation. When he came the second time, he cried in front of me. And I said, lady, did I do anything to offend you? Did I do anything to offend you? And she said, no. I said, why you cry so harsh? She said, well, sir, you're my big brothers. I said, really? I don't remember that. She said, you might not believe this. Nobody ever treated me such a nice ever since I was born. See? That's the ideal model for the country that Democrats want to shape up today. So, patriot, time to wake up. Right? Time to wake up. Look at the Xinjiang province. I've been there 5 times. One time with the U.S. government delegation to Urumqi, the capital of Xinjiang province. You heard recently in an article, in news, whatever, the Chinese communists lock up 2 million the Uyghur, which is predominantly Muslim, right, into the concentration camp. And what they call it, education camp, whatever camp you want to call it. How can you never heard those Muslim countries condemn them? Condemn the communists? It's a brother and sister, right? How can you never heard those 2 Muslim terrorists, a female in Congress, condemn Chinese communists, to lock up their own brothers and sisters? You know why? Because they are together. They enjoy the same benefit of this dictatorship. So, which country in the Middle East that Chinese communists has a very special relationship with? Saudi Arabia. Okay? In my timeline a couple of months ago, I said, the globalists have one agenda. The idea for globalists, a worldwide population is 500 million. So far we have like how many? 7 billion, right? And then the ideal capital is in China. And then, when I was in China and the government officially promote modified gene products. I said, well, how can you as a government, so many modified gene products prove to cause cancer, infertility for women? Who do they care? That's exactly what they want. Globalists, they always link together. They want to slave the rest of the world. They want to become a permanent master. I will share with you the next few videos. And be cautious, patriot. We need to unite it together to restore our lost land, because our country is in serious, serious trouble right now.